So the world of holistic medicine is big, and and the topic today is nourishing our being for vibrant health. Staying healthy as we grow older and nourishing our being with foods from the rainbow color spectrum. And that's to make it fun in our lives. So we stick to a healthy focus in our life. This this particular saying of Swami is big and bold on my refrigerator. God you think, God you are. Dust you think, dust you are. Think God, be God. Why do I have that here? I deal with about 20 to 30 patients online, allopathic, and I hear a lot of different complaints. And in my life, in my body, when I think that I'm a body mind, when I'm identified with my body mind, I go, oh, Maurieke, dust you think. Clear it. Brush off those thoughts. Brush them off. Think God, be God. Then I pray to Swami again to help me again to stay aligned. Why is this very important? Because especially as we are getting older, we tend to get different limitations, and it's sometimes not so easy to deal with them. So the White Tent story at Prema Nilayam, USA, April 2023. Thank you, Jen, for inviting me. I immediately said yes. And it was a wonderful experience. And one thing that I noticed there in the food tent, how many of us women having our breakfast, lunch, and dinner there, how many of us are struggling with low energy, some weight around the belly button, some weight around the waist area or our thighs? And it is at that moment I got inspired. If I ever am asked to give a talk, I'm going to start with that. I'm going to start with that extra fat around our belly. So the first book that I'm highlighting is by Mark Hyman. He is my professor in functional medicine, and the book is called Young Forever. It's a fabulous book to get if you're over 35, and it would be very helpful. Staying healthy as we grow older. And this is the world of functional medicine. So after I became board certified in conventional medicine and internal medicine, I've always been interested in holistic healthcare. So I got my degree in functional medicine. Functional medicine looks at the body as an ecosystem, a web of complex interconnected networks and systems that regulate our biological functioning, systems that, when out of balance, drive dysfunction and disease. So the people in Ayurveda and Chinese medicine already knew this for thousands of years. We must look at the body as a system. We must look at the body as a system. Research has shown that if people maintain their ideal body weight, they didn't smoke, and they exercise regularly, they live long, healthy, and vigorous life. And with exercise and additional healthy practices, you can dramatically enhance your level of health and vitality. Currently, if you have psoriasis, arthritis, heart disease, diabetes, irritable bowel, and depression, you may be referred to 6 different specialists. But all these problems are caused by one thing, inflammation. That is what we must address. You must address the root cause of inflammation. For example, food sensitivities as well as imbalances in the gut microbiome can cause all these conditions and diseases. So functional medicine is the science of creating health. When you create health, disease disappears. When you create health, disease disappears. The body comprises 7 dynamically interconnected network systems and are as follows. And so this is where I'm inviting you to take a note. Okay, I call this the priority note. My whole life I've done it. Whenever I would go to medical lectures, I would have a sticky note and a pencil. And I would say, Swami, please guide me what is most important, priority number one, and maybe a two and a three. So for this talk, I'm inviting you to do this healthy practice of jot down a priority when you are inspired and follow through with it. Otherwise, this is just a nice little talk. So there's seven systems, and they are assimilating nutrients, digestion, and the microbiome, defense and repair, our immune system and inflammatory system, energy production in our mitochondria, detoxification, transportation, circulation in the lymphatic system, communication through hormones and neurotransmitters, and then the body structure, from cellular structures to the musculoskeletal system. For every one of us, it is important to think about these seven systems and really make sure that we keep health in all those seven systems. Functional medicine provides a roadmap to assess all the environmental, lifestyle predisposing factors, genes, stress, toxins, trauma, microbes, diet, allergens, and so on that cause imbalance in the systems. So in functional medicine, we identify what are the symptoms, and the why, is there too much or too little of what is needed for health? I will address that at the end in the questions. But mitochondria are those little energy factories in our body. They make energy. And then also, so how we can determine the how, removing the impediments to health and adding the ingredients for health. This allows us to focus on the personalized strategies for lifestyle intervention in managing our environment to create the best outcomes, prevent chronic disease, and extend healthy lifespan. So we need to take out the bad stuff and put in the good stuff. We address the root causes of inflammation, toxins, allergens, microbiome imbalances, infections, stress, poor diet, as well as the lack of ingredients needed to create good health. And that includes whole, real food, nutrients, the right balance of hormones, light, clean water and air, movement, rest, sleep, love, community, meaning, and purpose. A lot of things to think about. So we have to eliminate the root causes that cause inflammation. It is very important to maintain our gut health. So what do we see? We see bad bugs, inflammation, and obesity. A lot of people have leaky gut, and leaky gut is where there is damage to the gut lining, and this is one of the most important factors driving inflammation. And it's adversely affecting nearly all the hallmarks of aging. And that is what I saw in the white tent, including me. How many of us have leaky gut? And we must heal it. Must heal it. The standard American diet is overuse of antibiotics, acid-blocking drugs, anti-inflammatory drugs like ibuprofen, and they all cause a toxic imbalance of bad gut bugs. And so something happened here in the United States. And here in the United States, we created a modern dwarf wheat. And that wheat was created to create more money, to create more protein, and also make it easier to harvest it. So this modern dwarf wheat that was created here in the United States has way more gliadin, and gliadin is a gluten protein than our ancient wheat. So people in the Mediterranean, if they have had ancient wheat bread or ancient wheat foods, they noted that they don't have what the Americans have. They don't have the gluten problem. So this may explain the 400% increase in celiac disease in the last 50 years and the dramatic rise of non-celiac gluten sensitivity. Gluten is a huge trigger of inflammation, gut damage, autoimmunity, heart disease, cancer, dementia, and aging itself. The key to a healthy gut is a whole foods diet, high in fiber and probiotic foods, and abundant in phytochemicals from colorful plant foods. Colorful in the phytochemicals is like purple in blueberries or in grapes. The discovery that our good microbes love phytochemicals such as polyphenols contained within colorful vegetables and fruits gives us a powerful way to feed the gut. And that's why I'm going to talk at the end about all the different colorful foods that you can grow yourself or you can buy them at the marketplace. Um, but I regularly, when I found this out, I have been thinking, oh, not only should I feed my human cells, I have to feed my microbes. I have to feed the healthy gut bacteria. I gotta feed them. Did I feed them today? No. And then I make sure that I feed them, and I'll talk about that later. So this is a common occurrence, insulin resistance. So this is talking about the people that are aging. So this is in the biological aging group. Okay. So insulin resistance from biological aging now affects 9 in 10 Americans who fall somewhere along the spectrum of prediabetes to full-blown type 2 diabetes. Insulin resistance is the single biggest hormonal disorder we face. The main cause, our high sugar, high starch diet and sedentary lifestyle. Starches like pasta, bread, potatoes, and dessert, they all function like quick sugar. Too much insulin creates a domino effect. It drives all those excess calories into belly fat cells. These are not regular fat cells. Belly fat cells are dangerous cells. They produce messenger molecules that then travel throughout the whole body. They increase hunger, slow metabolism, prevent fat burning, spike inflammation, lower testosterone in men, and increase estrogen in men and women, and increase stress hormones. So, and I have been dealing with this too. It's not easy. We don't just get fat bellies, we age rapidly. The result? High blood sugar and high blood pressure, sexual dysfunction in men, hair loss in women, increased cortisol, which worsens blood sugar and causes further muscle wasting, low growth hormone, impairing sleep, healing, and repair, and systemic inflammation, fueling the wildfire of aging. So, if I were to prescribe one intervention to extend life, to prevent and to reverse chronic disease, it would be to dramatically reduce or eliminate sugar and refined starch from your diet. One thing. The most important thing you can do for healthy aging is to balance your blood sugar and keep your insulin levels low, which means eating a low sugar, low starch diet with plenty of good quality fats and protein and a boatload of phytochemical and fiber-rich fruits and vegetables. Food sensitivities are a main trigger in inflammation. The most common foods that trigger reactions are gluten, dairy, grains, beans, soy, eggs, nuts, seeds, and nightshades. Healing the gut through the elimination diet is a powerful tool for anyone with an inflammatory condition. So, if you know that you may have some of these food sensitivities, you can immediately start and practice the elimination diet. Sources for that is this first link, Mark Hyman. You can get his book, The Blood Sugar Solution, 10-Day Detox. And for audio, the website is drhyman.com. Okay. And you can go to that website. He has written a lot of excellent books. Another source of the elimination diet, you can purchase this also, is by Tom Malterre, Malterre, first name Tom. He and his wife also have wonderful cookbooks you can look at. And then I will be talking about this book, Diana Minnick's book, The Rainbow Diet, in a moment. She's a wonderful being, and Diana Minnick and the Rainbow Diet and Whole Detox. Her website is dianaminnick.com. So now taking care of our blood vessels. Heart disease is largely caused by insulin resistance. The consequences are heart attacks, high blood pressure, strokes, and even dementia. Conventional medicine approach has been to bypass the problem literally with heart bypass operations and stents, or to lower cholesterol with medications. None of these address the root cause of the problem. Hear this clearly. Heart disease is the #1 disease in this country. From today on, we as a community must address the root causes. So none of these address the root cause of the problem, giving stents and things like that. Cholesterol is not the problem. I tell you, the first time when I heard that many years ago, cholesterol is not the problem. Heart disease is triggered when inflammation and hormonal changes turn cholesterol into fragile plaques that coat our arteries. And so why do they coat the arteries? Because the arteries are inflamed. There is inflammation. That is why, for all of us to keep healthy, we must address the inflammation in our bodies, reduce inflammation, and keep our bodies balanced. So what causes heart disease? It is our diet. It is the high sugar, high starch, low fiber, nutrient depleted, phytonutrient poor, ultra processed food, damaged fat diet. All right, so take a look at the bottom of this slide. Magnesium deficiency is present in about 40% of Americans. And low magnesium leads to high blood pressure. Magnesium relaxes blood vessels. Stress, alcohol, caffeine, sugar all deplete magnesium. And magnesium is found in foods such as nuts, seeds, beans, and greens. Now taking care of our muscles and bones as we get older. We get muscle loss, sarcopenia, but we can minimize that. We get some bone loss, osteopenia, and if it's advanced, osteoporosis. And these are huge factors in aging. Muscle is where our metabolism is. So if we have a low muscle mass, it means slow metabolism and increase in diabetes, heart disease, cancer, dementia, inflammation, and aging. We need the best quality protein to build muscle. If you're vegan, especially as you age, you need to ensure you get enough protein by increasing the overall volume of protein-rich plants, adding protein powders, and supplementing with branched-chain amino acids. So that is just, you can just buy that at drhyman.com. You can just buy that. Why do I use them, and why do a lot of functional medicine doctors use it? Especially if we see that people are already having muscle loss. They're already aging. They're getting more and more wrinkles. And these particular branch chain amino acids, these are specific amino acids that help with protein building. So every little bit of help, it's not necessary, but I take it. So these are two good books by Dr. Hyman, and What to Eat. It's a vegan diet. And another book, Food, What the Heck Should I Eat? So take a look at those two books. Regarding exercise, I went to a functional medicine talk many years ago on exercise. And most of the speakers said, if you had to do one thing in addition to cutting sugar, what would you do? It is keep your muscle, keep everything you have. keep your muscles strong, and even try building some because that is going to be a key focus for health. You're going to stay smart, good heart health, good blood vessel health, good metabolism, good digestion. Keep your muscle and build it. So that comes to exercise, the power of movement. And the recommended amount of exercise is 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week, 5 days times 30 minutes, or 75 minutes of vigorous exercise per week. Walking is great, but more vigorous activity is better. Add in 3 to 4 days of strength training with bands, weights, or body weight exercises. So I'm going to tell you what I did. Going to the lectures and thinking, oh my God, I have a sitting job. I sit at my headphone, talk to 20 to 30 patients a day in urgent care. I have a sitting job. And what they say, sitting is the next smoking. So it's like, okay, I've got to move. I've got to move. First of all, for any of us, if we are very fatigued, do not call it exercise. Just call it, let me move a little bit. Let me move a little bit. I can do a little bit of movement. And the next thing is, my cute little dog likes sniffing everywhere. So at one point I had to say that my strolling with my dog wasn't cutting it. So I now still stroll my dog, but I make sure I get my 30 minutes of walking as fast as I can, brisk walking, little bit out of breath, little sweating, brisk walking. If you can commit to just that, you are going to make such a significant difference in your life. And then in the kitchen area, I have my yoga mat and all the different gadgets. So I have bands, I have weights, and I also go to yoga practice 3 times a week. So now we're going to talk about a different book, and this is to keep it a little light and a little joyful. Deanna Minnick is a PhD in nutrition science, and I met her in the year 2000. I've been following her since, her blogs, her articles, and they are wonderful. And when she studied Ayurvedic medicine and Chinese medicine, and her diet and recommendations are infused with that wisdom. That's why I like it. It's like Western and Ayurveda and Chinese. It's all mingled, and she takes the best of the best because heaven knows we need it. We have so many stressors, so much exposure that is affecting our bodies. So the website is Diana Minnick, and take a look at her books. And so, what does she do about the whole colors of foods to eat? She decided to pattern it after the rainbow within. She talks about food has the power to affect us on many levels, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. This power was recognized thousands of years ago by ancient traditions like Ayurvedic medicine and traditional Chinese medicine. Balancing the energetic properties of different foods in the diet is strongly emphasized. So she calls this the standard American diet, she goes, tends to be brown, yellow, and white. Boring. Brown, yellow, and white foods diet. Boring. And with great joy, she infuses in us of how can we be creative? What other colors can we bring in? And people are falling short on their daily intake of colorful foods, using a lot of color and variety to bring in fun and creativity in the kitchen. So she starts with the red chakra. Red foods support our ability to protect ourselves. Strawberries have been shown to reduce pain in those with osteoarthritis. Who knew? But what is wonderful about her website and her books is that she goes and researches all these nitty-gritties. That's totally cool. Red foods and immune health. A healthy immune system protects against microorganisms such as bacteria and viruses. So my story of red, I really liked her, and I said, okay, Deanne Minnick, I'm going to do what you're doing. And um, this was already back in the year 2000. I started planting nasturtium, but not any nasturtium, medicinal nasturtium, and it's called the Empress of India. It is a gorgeous, deep blood red nasturtium, and it's currently growing in my vegetable garden. I pick at least 5 flowers a day. And early in the season, the leaves are edible and medicinal too. So the leaves go into my Vitamix also. And I drink a large glass of green juice every day. Basically, whatever I can find in my vegetable garden, and some things I have to purchase. Then I grow red beets, but I don't pull them out only in the fall. I grow them for their leaves and their stems. They have a beautiful red color. That helps me to stay grounded. Red beets, when I eat red beets, some people steam them or cook them. I eat them raw because this body, this whole life, it's easy to be a raw foodist. Um, and then raspberries. Amazingly enough, the raspberries are still beautiful and red and growing in my garden. So whenever I'm pulling weeds, I eat a few raspberries. I'm pulling weeds. I'm chanting to Swami. I eat a few raspberries. Orange foods, orange chakra, supports fertility and are protective and warming. Carrots may lower the risk of breast cancer. So isn't this wonderful that more and more research is going to the good stuff instead? Yes, drugs are helpful. Yes, I prescribe them. But to actually sit and read articles how carrots may lower the risk of breast cancer, how do they interact with the DNA, how do they interact with the cell organelles and all the parts and pieces of a cell, to me that is very, very juicy. My story of orange, and I grow edible marigolds. Did you know there are marigolds that are edible? And I grow Mexican marigold tangerine jam, and it has a citrus flavor. So I eat it like that. It is tiny. It is kind of like the tip of my finger. They're very, very small flowers. And I also harvest them, and they also go into my Vitamix for a green drink. And then there is Calendula officinalis, and I eat about 5 orange flowers every day. So when I'm eating my marigolds and my calendula, I tell myself, good for my eye, good for my eyes. And now we're going to talk about the yellow chakra. Yellow foods evoke our own internal fire, the fire of digestion. An example is ginger root provides nausea relief and aids many gastrointestinal disorders. Imbalance in the GI system, that's the gut, may show up as too much abdominal fat, indigestion, acid reflux, or bloating. So what do I grow currently for yellow? I have zucchini flowers. I have a beautiful zucchini plant. One is good enough for me because my little dog, she doesn't eat zucchini. And the female flowers I keep because that's where the fruit grows. But it has an abundance of male flowers, big yellow flowers, and I harvest them. They're very hairy, so I don't put them in my mouth like that. People steam them and do different things with them. But just like that, it goes into my Vitamix. And then fennel flowers. So we know about the fennel seeds, but I also eat the flowers. And so when it's flowering, I snip it off and the whole thing goes in my Vitamix. And then, of course, pansies. And currently, I also have growing yellow raspberries. Very plump, absolutely gorgeous golden color yellow raspberries, and very sweet. Love them. Then we go to the green foods, the heart chakra. Green foods are heart loving. Green supports a healthy heart. Green is the kind of love that embraces and envelops us like Mother Nature when walking through a forest. Green supports optimal circulation and a healthy cardiovascular system. So I currently have a lot of Italian basil growing, so much so that it's all going to flowering tops, but I throw nothing away. I pick handfuls of basil every day, including the flowering tops that have those white flowers, and it goes into my Vitamix for a green drink. And I also, since the year 2000, since knowing Swami, I've been growing Tulsi plants. Love Tulsi. I love the smell of those purple flowers. They grow very well in Colorado. And Tulsi is also called holy basil. And I pluck everything. So the younger tops, the small leaves, and also with the purple flowers. And currently I have an Italian heirloom zucchini, a costata romanesco, and that zucchini becomes this big, huge, beautiful green and white. And what I love is it's an heirloom. And so you can imagine people in Italy hundreds of years ago having this particular giant zucchini. And then Italian parsley, fennel, lettuce, and kale. Purple, blue, black foods that support the mind and the mood. These foods provide brain-boosting antioxidants to bolster the brain, and blueberries may be beneficial to memory. Now, a little story about blueberries. So this was in the early 2000s. I went to a medical conference and I was eating blueberries that the hotel had provided. And a friend of mine says, "Oh, you are eating non-organic blueberries?" I said, "Yes. What am I missing?" And she talked about you must look at EWG.org, the Environmental Working Group, Shopper's Guide to Pesticides in Produce. I advise everyone, if you haven't looked at this website, you must regularly look at it, please, because there are hidden pesticides not only in things that are produced as they're growing, but also post-production. They get sprayed so they don't get a fungus. So please be aware of what you are eating. And what is nice is if you look at the website, the EWG.org, you can look at food news and you can look at Dirty Dozen. Now, I have seen over 30,000 patients online, and I speak about this Dirty Dozen a lot. I have patients in Mississippi, I have patients in Arizona, I have patients in California, in New York, in Houston. They're everywhere, right? And if we just know this little list, and I ask people to print it out, have it in your wallet, have it on the refrigerator, that the dirty dozen, the reason why it's called dirty is because they're laden with those pesticides that you should not consume. Not your grandchildren, not your children, and not you. Because the research has shown how many toxic disease causing problems it causes. So that's the dirty dozen. They also have the clean 15. Take a look at that. And so blue. Currently, in my Colorado garden, there are beautiful borage flowers that are blue. They're a gorgeous blue star. And I just pick them and they go, at least 5 or more, go into my Vitamix. Pansies, I've had a lot of pansies, especially the tinier pansies, the little Johnny jump ups, the tops of Tulsi with the purple flowers, garden sage that has purple flowers, pick that, and purple basil leaves. So, so my story of these colors is what I have done reading Diana Minick's articles and constantly thinking, what can I eat for greater health for my eyes or for my bone marrow or for my brain? what can I eat? But also, and what can I eat to feed the good bacteria in our gut? So, white foods. These are cleansing and purifying. The color white symbolizes rest, digest, detoxify, which is the parasympathetic state where we truly need to let go of that no longer serves. It's not the processed foods such as sugar and white flour, but all the white foods such as onions, garlic, and cauliflower. Coconut oil is a rich source of medium chain fatty acids that protect against chronic diseases and supports against infections. So the white flowers of the Italian basil, and then I chew on coconut pieces while sipping my green drink. And wouldn't you know, my cute little Yogi, this 9-pound dog, her favorite food is tiny coconut pieces. So I eat a few, she eats a few, I eat a few, she eats a few. It's just adorable. Brown and tan foods, grounding and eliminating, bringing us back to earth. Whole grains, nuts, seeds, coffee, mushrooms have deep flavors and are mineral rich. Significant beneficial effects of cacao, flaxseed, and whole oats. So
That's
on this slide, I invite you also take a picture of these links. So functional medicine teaches the importance of functional nutrition, and you can go to drhyman.com by Mark Hyman, MD, and he has excellent books. Take a look at that. He has a doctor's pharmacy where he interviews people like holistic gynecologists, like holistic neurologists. And so you can look at his doctor's pharmacy and learn a lot from what other people do in the field. You can also, if you decide to get some of your tests done, like why do I have this belly fat? Why am I fatigued? There are hundreds of functional medicine tests available. No, they're not known to the conventional medical world. Insurance will not cover it, but you can
oh,
order them
Janet.
through Mark Hyman, drhyman.com if you choose to do so. Another choice would be if you look at ifm.org, find a practitioner. Now, some people have sent me some questions beforehand. Thank you so much for doing and participating, making our women's group a successful interactive participating group. Thank you. Some of the questions were I have advanced this disease or that disease, for whether it's advanced kidney disease, advanced heart disease, or rheumatic diseases. For people like that, I've always said it's good to have several doctors. Number one, a conventional doctor, because testing is very expensive. Blood testing, MRI testing, and different things is very expensive. So that gets covered. If you have some money and time, yes, you can do functional medicine. You can get some tests done. And with a few tests, you can work with that for a solid year because there's so much information you're going to find out. Okay. So when I had my holistic practice here in Colorado, I ended that practice in 2013. I asked Swami, please help me. I need to do something else. I came into this body having always taken on diseases of other people. I noticed that in medical school also. If somebody had a rheumatic right knee, I would have it. Same pain while she was describing it. Same thing with cancers, breast cancers, flu-like illnesses. Um, Sometimes people would instantly walk out being healthy, but I would have their disease. And then with Swami's blessing and taking a lot of vibhuti, um, clear that out again. But then I was getting a little older and I said, Swami, it's too much. I can't do this anymore. Please help me. And so Swami helped me on the inner to come to functional medicine. So some people are going to want to have an appointment with me, but that's not possible anymore. I only do conventional medicine, urgent care medicine. And then, just like today, I point people to where they need to go. Because just like if you have like a kidney disease or heart disease or diabetes, you would not just look at an Ayurvedic practitioner and say, tell me what to do. They would say, may I please feel your pulses? Same thing with a Chinese medicine doctor. May I please feel your pulses? And because this is medicine that is systemic, it is holistic, it is a vibrant network. It's alive in the moment. It's not a textbook. I'm going to fix this red car, and all red cars should be fixed that way. It's dynamic. And so, if you have any of those diseases, yes, you should get a practitioner to help you because you get trying to do it on your own. You might doubt yourself in so many different ways because there's so many different things going on. And then Tom O'Brien is also a functional medicine doctor, and he is absolutely wonderful. His website is pretty short, thedoctor.com, THEDR.com. That's Tom O'Brien. For any of you, if you have questions for him, you can join his live Facebook group. You sign up for his newsletter, live Facebook group. He is I would say, the king of dealing with gluten and gluten sensitivities. So if you have difficulties and money is tight, you don't want to see a local practitioner, but you want to ask them that question on Facebook Live, you could. Okay? And of course, that's free. And then Tom Maltaire, I've mentioned him earlier, his book, The Elimination Diet, and you can get that on Amazon or on Tom Maltaire's website, and then Deanna Minnick and her books. So a couple of months ago, we had an excellent talk on women's health and what to do. These are two women, two holistic gynecologists, and that's a rarity. Two holistic gynecologists that have fabulous websites, chock full with great articles and resources. And I invite you, whether it's breast health or pelvic health, to check out sarahgottfriedmd.com. And that is SARAGOTTFRIEDMD.com. You can go take a look at that. She has talks on YouTube you can check out. And also Dr. Anna Kabeka, and that is DRANNACABECA.com. Also lovely, lovely source. And I'm going to quickly mention these supplements. Okay. Um, these are the supplements that I send in an email to all of my 30,000 patients that I have seen through telemedicine, including when there was the COVID pandemic. And I asked every single patient to get on these supplements. So this is the minimum. This is foundational. If you have more health issues, you would get specific ones. Um, but they are a multivitamin from fruit vegetable source. Please don't try to get a man-made one. You would not want to have a man-made apple. You want to have the real apple. So as directed, whatever you read on the bottle, follow that. Vitamin C, 1,000 milligram at least twice daily. So that's actually a small amount. However, I have this for people who are just freshly getting into the vitamin world, and I don't want to overwhelm anybody. Zinc, 20 milligram a day. That is excellent for strengthening the immune system, specifically against all viruses. Probiotics, at least 10 billion in strength or more daily. Vitamin D3, 5,000 units daily. I've written here at dinner. It doesn't have to be at dinner, but most people will eat some fat at dinner. And vitamin D, you should not just drink with coffee or water and call it good. It needs a fat source for absorption. So if you have some fat for breakfast or some fat for lunch, then yes. But It's got to be with some fat source so that it's absorbed into our bodies. And then essential fatty acids, you can get algae form vegan essential fatty acids. You can shop on that online or go to drhyman.com. Some people take fish oil capsules, 2 capsules, 3 times a day. And then magnesium. As you saw, 40% of Americans were deficient in magnesium. All holistic medical doctors, including me, we take a lot of magnesium. This is a stressful job, and we take a lot of magnesium to keep us going and to help us relax at night so we can go to bed and put all the problems aside. So magnesium citrate, 400 milligram, 2 or 3 times a day. And then the last slide. God you think, God you are, dust you think, dust you are. Think God, be God. So if any of you is overwhelmed, no, no, you're not dust. Think God, be God. Sairam, thank you. And I am available for questions.
Thank you so much. Such a wonderful, wonderful talk. So informative, as we can see in the chat box. There have been so many sisters that have been waiting for this kind of an information. So it's just wonderful. Um, Jan, can you jump in with a few questions that you have already collected? Do you have them?
Hi, this is PJ.
PJ,
I
go ahead.
guess I'm the one that's going to be doing the questions.
Okay.
And I'm sorry for the background noise. That's wonderful waterfalls that are happening to calm you. So I think Dr. Maruieke, you have answered some of these questions, but I'm going to go ahead and repeat some of them maybe. One thing is, it's I know the focus of your talk, but I hope you will bring in nourishment for those with suppressed immune systems, which you did, where we cannot build immunity. I have a transplant and cannot afford rejection from good foods, affecting the tacrolimus I take or making my immune system strong.
Yes, yes. And
Did you hear
for,
that?
oh yes, yes. And I also printed it out. Thank you, Jan, for sending that. Um, for you, okay. What the fact is,
Okay, good.
have, can you hear me? Yes? The fact that you have a
Yes.
kidney transplant and you're taking a medication, the most important thing, don't do it on your own. Get help. Absolutely get help. You will get too frustrated. It's too complex. It's even complex for me. I've been practicing medicine since 94, and the complexity of health issues that you have um, needs handholding. So for you, I would suggest have your conventional medical doctor, but then go to the website ifm.org, put in your zip code, and then find a practitioner in your area. Okay. So for you, the functional medicine practitioners, there are a variety of them. There are MDs like me, and they're DOs. They're chiropractors, DCs, and they're naturopathic doctors. I would say find somebody that has prescribing privileges like me. Okay, so they can prescribe medicines while you're seeing them. Okay, that would be good. And then, of course, because of the kidney transplant, there has to be communication from that doctor with the kidney transplant doctor. Otherwise, this is what you will get. Don't take anything. It might cause trouble for you. And I, as the kidney transplant doctor, haven't studied functional medicine, holistic medicine. You see that? So please go find yourself a functional medicine practitioner who has a lot of experience and feels comfortable. Um, And then for the sake of time, because I have 3 minutes, I wanted to share some things. Somebody says, I cannot eat raw vegetables. Okay. So healthy salads are out. You you be creative. Okay. Be creative. And take a look at the work by Deanna Minnick. Okay. The lady of the rainbow diet. She talks about we cannot do it raw. This is how you steam it, or this is how you cook it. She talks to omnivores. She talks to vegans. She does research for both parties to eat the healthiest thing. So I would recommend you do that. Sign up on her blog, okay? Sign up on her articles and her newsletters. And for you too, I would see a functional medicine person. If money is very tight, you can get a functional nutritionist. And the functional nutritionists are allowed to do food sensitivity testing. If I had what you have, healthy salads are out, cruciferous vegetables I cannot eat, get tested. Do a functional medicine food sensitivity profile. Okay. So, and then you have the results black and white in front of you where it says this is a no and that is a yes. And so you're not second guessing anymore. I have a medical chart this thick because I've been testing myself for many different holistic tests since I came to Boulder, Colorado in 97. I test myself every year in November for my birthday for food sensitivities. So something like, and this is my last word because I'm looking at the time. So something like Brazil nuts and macadamia nuts, this body had become sensitized to, and I couldn't eat them anymore. And on that note, I'm going to let it be. And thank you all so much for this opportunity and for stepping into greater health